Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 6, words devalued, and verse number 88. We have to start with 88, isn't it? Hmm, 88. We have not done that. How the self cannot know the self is explained further by a few examples in the next 5 OVs. आपुले नी जाणपणे आपणया ते जाणो नेणे डोळया आपले पाहणे दुवाड जैसे. As we cannot see the eyes by the eyes, so also the self cannot know the self. This example we have taken it many times. Once again, subject cannot know the subject. The seer cannot come to know the seer. The observer cannot come to know the observer. The witness cannot witness itself. So now you apply it everywhere. Start from wherever. World cannot know the world. The body cannot know the body. The senses cannot know the senses. The mind cannot know the mind. See? Everything is null and void the moment you put that. What will you do? And what are we doing? We are only wanting to know. This default setting which we are set in, that we have to know objectively, and there is no data that anyone has been ever been able to know anything or anyone completely as it is, as the object is. Knowingness, knowing itself, the knower trying to know itself, is never possible, because when the knower and the known are one, how can there be knowledge as knowledge of something? But yet knowledge does take place at the conscious level, at the mind level, or not at the mind level, at the at the consciousness level. Knowledge does take place, but it does not take place by way of thoughts. It does not take place by way of objectivity. So your eyes are not able to see themselves, but you know eyes are there. Mind cannot know itself, but you know the mind is there. The self cannot know itself, but you know you are the self. There is no question about it. The question or the confusion comes. As the body, I am the self. As the father, I am the self. As the wife, I am the self. As the son, I am the self. That's where the problem begins. But as the self, there's no problem. Because when the knower and the known are one, how can there be knowledge as knowledge of something? Where is the knower known? It is in the mind. Seer seen, knower known, experiencer experienced. The subject and the object, this duality, is in the mind. In Vaikhari, the chanter is here, the chanted is the word, the Lord, Lord's name. In Madhyama, the chanter and chanted both are in the mind. In the Pashyanti, chanter and chanted have become unmanifest. In Para, they have not become unmanifest in Para. They have become one with each other. Therefore, no distinction. I just had a tea. When I left from here, tea was an idea. Tea was an object in the kitchen, which I need to be one with, desire. Then I made the tea. Then I put the tea into my mouth. Now the tea was not an object outside, but it was subtle. It is in my mouth. I can taste it, I can smell it, I can experience it. Before it was outside, I was not able to experience. Yes, the fragrance was there, but the taste was not there. When the tea has gone in, it's become one. No objectivity left now. Knower, known have become one. The subject and object have become one. And what is that where the subject-object duality will, the mergence, the convergence of the subject and the object when they meet each other, what is that condition where these knower, known, subject, object, when they merge into each other, there is complete knowledge. What is that? It is only possible when the subject is seeking the subject as an object. Only in that case the final dissolution is possible. If any other object of the world is there, universe is there, it will not happen. But only when the subject, the knower and known. And what is the known? The knower, the subject. And the knower is trying to know the subject, the knower, as the known. In that process, only in this process, the I wanting to know the I. Then what will happen? The mind will vanish because it is not possible. This is the subjective approach. Subjective approach means where the mind vanishes, mind dissolves, the phenomena dissolves. When the knower himself is of the nature of pure undifferentiated knowledge, where there is no possibility of differentiation of knower and known, it is impossible to know oneself through the medium of words, just as it is impossible to see one's own eyes. So where the knower, you ask the question, Ramana Maharishi used to ask, who am I? And after that, he didn't continue writing books. This is who I am. Remained silent. Because there is no answer to it, at least in the mind. Because mind being a phenomena, mind being being um, mind comes about where there is a incomplete knowledge of the reality. Mind comes about when there is duality. Mind appears where there is uh, incompleteness. This is one way of approach. The other approach is mind is the glory. Mind is the glory of the reality. Paramashiva's glory is what? Shakti. With reference to Shakti, that Paramashiva is called as Shiva. So that is his glory, if taken that way. But when Shakti merges back into Shiva, she doesn't have an independent existence. Can mind exist independently of the pure consciousness? Can it? No. So she is dependent. Can pure consciousness be independent of the Shakti? Yes. So can you be independent of the phenomena of mind? Yes, that is your Shakti. Can the mind or the phenomena be independent of the self? Not possible. Where is the duality? In the mind, which is essentially the one. But because it is harboring the duality, it is not knowing its own nature. And therefore, here it is said, it is impossible to know oneself through the medium of words, just as it is impossible to see one's own eyes. So one must be very clear as to what they are pursuing on the seat of meditation. What do you want to achieve by doing meditation? What do you want to achieve? What is it that you are seeking which you already don't have? What is it? So as we become clearer with regards to the subject, this entire text of Amrutanubhava is bringing us clarity as to who we are. And in this chapter, no words can ever reveal the reality. Where are the words? In the mind. So no words can ever reveal the truth. Truth is in spite of the words, in spite of the phenomena, the truth is. When the eyes are functioning in the field which is other than the eyes, there will be the seer of the object and the knowledge of the object seen. When the eyes are functioning in the field which is other than the eyes, so other than the vision, you are seeing everything. So what is there? There is knowledge of the object that is seen. This is a fan, so fan is the knowledge. This is a laptop, this is the knowledge. When the eyes are focusing on themselves, that is, when there is withdrawal from external objects, the eyes may be open, there may be perception, but there will not be specific knowledge. There will not be specific knowledge. This you have to experiment with yourself. You don't have to believe us, believe the scripture, believe this Jnaneshwar Maharaj, until unless you don't practice it in your life, until unless you don't experiment it with yourself, you will not come to your own conclusions. And we must practice according to the guidance given in our scriptures or masters. So when he is saying that when you focus your eyes from all other objects, so you are having, this is a fan form, this is a light form, this is a laptop form. I want to know the source of the seeing. You focus on your eyes. As you bring your eyes, automatically you have withdrawn from all the other objects which were being illumined by your eyes. And as you keep bringing them closer, you can only try. Two things will happen. One is all the forms will start melting into one soup. Second, you will get a headache. You will get a headache. And then you will realize it is a useless experiment, that I can never be able to see my own eyes with my eyes. The eyes can never see themselves. But that does not mean that the eyes are not. Eyes are there. Apply the same thing. The mind tries to know the self. It is not going to be possible. But because it is not possible at the mind level, self still is. Come to this realization, come to this understanding that what we have just said is not an example, it is about us, who we are, that we are the continuous one, in spite of everything. The eyes may be open to open, there may be perception, but there will not be any specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is specific form. Every form comes with a name. Every name comes with a form. Form may be outside, but the name is in your mind, which expresses as the word in your mouth. So they both go together. The general knowledge, where the specific aspect of knower known knowledge is not born, is called pure knowledge. So what is that general knowledge? What is that where the knower known knowledge, the Triputi is not born? That is water. What is the potentiality within the water? To express as the total knower known knowledge, or to express as the individual knower known knowledge. But from water's point of view, there is no knower known knowledge. In other words, from water's point of view, there is no totality and individuality. Then what is its disposition? I alone am. How does he know that? Without a thought. It is its natural state. So is yours, that you are all that there is. Totality, individuality, Lord Shiva is only with reference to Shakti, his potentiality, just as you are only with reference to your mind as an individual, just as you as a man are the real, but as a husband only with reference to your wife, as father only with reference to your children. So are you a referential person or are you the original? Man is the original. Then what are the referential ones? Father, mother, daughter, sister, etc. They are just imaginations, just roles coming and going with reference to something or someone or something. But man is independent, supporting all, supporting all, yet transcendental to all roles. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. The self is supporting all the duality, but transcendental to the duality. And that which is transcendental is Purnamada Purnamidam, is the general. There is no specificity in it. The specificity of north, south, east, west, the various directions, that specificity is created, is imagined in the general space. From space point of view, there are no directions. The specificity of ornaments is imagined in the gold. From gold's point of view, there are no ornaments. It alone is. Your attention is on the form. Your attention is on the usefulness or usability. To that you say, a kada hai, this is a bangle, this is a kada, this is a necklace, this is a crown. But from gold's point of view, I alone am. Because no attention. How can the gold know gold? Just as how can the eyes see the eyes? Can't. This is pure knowledge. In this way, because of this knowingness, the triad of knower no knowledge is possible. So, so wherever there is specific knowledge, the Triputi appears. Knowledge, thought knowledge takes place. Because of this knowingness, the triad of knower known knowledge is possible. In deep sleep, the knowingness aspect is unmanifest. So, intelligence, knowingness is unmanifest in the deep sleep, subtle manifest in the dream, gross manifest in the waking. In other words, the Triputi. Unmanifest, and only sentiency aspect is maintained, meaning sentiency aspect in deep sleep, knowingness is unmanifest and only sentiency aspect is maintained, meaning life is maintained. Life is throbbing in deep sleep, and it is throbbing by itself. It doesn't need any support. Yeah, well, it does need support. It needs a body. Only through body life can express. Only through mind life can express. But where is the mind? Unmanifest. It is quiet, it is silent. And there the life is, here he explains, Swamiji explains what is sentiency. I said it is life. Sentiency means the capability of perception and feeling which is dormant. As a result, there is no possibility of identification with the subtle body or the gross body. There is no movement in the gross body or in the mind and buddhi. Everything has become still. Everything is unmanifest. All these tentacles of the gross and the subtle, of the waking and the dream, have gone back to their cause, the deep sleep, have gone back to their cause, the silence. So if gross tentacles have gone back to silence, gone back to subtle, and subtle has gone back to causal, then what is gross? The world is gross, body is gross. In this body the breath is there, senses are there, thoughts are there. All this has gone back to its source. In deep sleep, you are not even aware of your breathing, you are not aware of your form, you are not aware of which bed you are sleeping in, you are not aware which country, you are not aware of your age, You are not aware whether you are a man or woman. You are not aware whether you are alive or dead. You are not aware of anything. But life is. Life is still there. On one hand, life is there, and without life, cause and effect cannot express. Cause the deep sleep, effect the waking and dream. So the capacity to experience life through mind and senses, that is also become unmanifest in deep sleep. See, everything has come to a stop. When in the waking state, the body is kept still through asana siddhi and the mind is quietened, one comes to the point of witnesshood. Two ingredients. What are the adjustments or ingredients? The body needs to be still. And second, the mind is silent. Can you have a silent mind with a moving body? Not possible. It is possible for sages, it is possible. Saints, it is possible. We are talking from seeker's point of view here. Can you have a quiet mind with a moving body? No. It will demand attention, thoughts will come. So what is the practice? Practice is dive deep into yourself, come to your true understanding of yourself, and in that process, the body will become still. The mind, and when there are no disturbances from the body, to a large extent, the mind becomes still. Then next frontier is the breath. When there is no movement in the body, breath also doesn't move that fast. Breath needs to go in the pumping action, the energy required. When there is lot of movement going on, when there is no physical movement going on, less breath is required. But this is the beautiful connection. Less breath, less thoughts in the mind. Everything is connected. Body was also a thought, or body is also a thought in the mind. We are imagining it is an object out there, but it is not so. So body has become silent, breath has become slow and shallow, and mind also eventually becomes silent. Then it leads to Sakshi Bhav. Only in a silent mind, Sakshi Bhav reveals itself. You cannot create it. You cannot think and be a Sakshi. Only when sufficiently everything is quietened, suddenly this pops up. Anahat Chakra. This is where it pops up. All the activity, all the energy, all the movement, maximum of it. Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, Manipur. Security, desire, and accumulation, greed. Wanting. When all this is quietened, we can't sort out every desire, we can't sort out every fear, we can't sort out everything that is, throw away everything that we have in the room, accumulation. I think I'll need this. Every August I go and throw things out on the nature strip. Mom goes and brings it back in. Can't disassociate with it. So is us. Every night the mind throws everything away, becomes unclutched from all memories, expectations, And the moment you wake up, again you hold on to them. Again you go out and bring it back into the house of the mind. Not different from my mom. See? What is that you bring? Oh, I am the father. Oh, I am the body. Oh, I am still living. Oh, I got these diseases. Oh, I got so much money. Oh, I have to achieve this. Oh, I have to achieve that. You are collecting. Again, bring it back. Mind emptied everything. Stay there. No. How can I continue if there is nothing to interact with, if there is nothing to call mine? How can I live? लगे रहो फिर उसमें क्या है? When in the waking state, the body is kept still through asana siddhi and the mind quietened, one comes to the point of witnesshood, this sakshi bhav. Sakshi bhav is developed or it comes about only when we practice drashta bhav outside. Remain an observer of everything that is going on. Don't get carried away by anything. Don't get disturbed by anything. And slowly, that will translate into sakshi bhav. For drashta bhav, what are the practices? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayam. Till here is outside. Pratyahar is inside. Dharana, dhyan, samadhi is inside. So drashta bhav, whatever the objective world, gross world, remain undisturbed by it. When that habit of remaining undisturbed consciously, and slowly when you're sitting on the seat of meditation, then on the seat of meditation also you will not be disturbed by the thoughts. Actually speaking, this process is other way around. You practice on the seat of meditation, remaining witness of undisturbed by the thoughts. The witnessing will happen and then that translates in the outside world. But we don't know how to quieten our mind. We don't know how to separate ourselves from the thoughts in the mind. So our sages have given this beautiful, some way must be there. So the way of yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, this was given. Or the 7 chakras of the kundalini were given. Or kriya yoga was given. This is only because all these paths are given from outside to inside, only because we are or we find ourselves incapable, unqualified to be the witness of our thoughts. So witnessing is inside the mind, observing is outside the mind, meaning out there in the world. And both are, the more you are able to witness in the mind, the more you will be able to observe in the world. The more you are able to observe in the world, to that extent you will be someday be able to witness the mind. Even here the knowingness is not withdrawn. Where it is not withdrawn, in deep sleep, the knowingness is not completely withdrawn. The knowingness is dropped when the attention is focused on the nature of the knowingness to find its source. Who knows? In deep sleep, you cannot do this exercise. So when you wake up, you are asked, hey, your mind was silent, your mind was disidentified with space-time objectivity. Your mind was, there were no thoughts of life or death or birth or growth or disease, decay, death. There was no hunger, there was no thirst. Did you feel your body? No, nothing. Knowingness. This is your knowledge. Someone is saying, no, yeah, this is my experience. At night, I did not feel anything. I did not experience anything. There were no memories. There is no anxiety. There is no disease. Can the waker say all this? No, because he was absent in the deep sleep. So how waker is available only in the waking state? Then who is making this statement? Who is having this knowingness that all this was happening in the deep sleep? That there was no disturbance. There was no objectification. There was no variety. There was no identification. Who knows? In the waking, when we seek out this knower, to whom was the knowledge? Where is this knowledge? To whom is this knowledge? When we seek the source of this, that is what is told here. This knowingness is dropped when the attention is focused on the nature of the knowingness. So how did this knowledge come about deep sleep? There was no person, there was no duality, there was no objectivity, and yet knowledge is there. Think about it. How fascinating. Waker was not there. Waker can think, but Waker was not there. And yet you are able to formulate thoughts in the waking with reference to the sleep, which was a zero state, and you are having so many words for the zero state. So that knowledge, that knowingness is now expressing as these words to communicate the uncommunicable, or I should say, communicate the unmanifest state. See? The knowingness is dropped when the attention is focused on the nature of the knowingness. So when we try to think what was deep sleep state, we will keep coming up with the words like I am doing right now. But the moment our attention goes to whom is this knowledge, because it can't be the waker, it can't be the dreamer, and who is this fellow? To whom was this knowledge? It was to me. Who is this me? If it's not the waker, it's not the dreamer, it's not the sleeper, then who is this? It's the I. Who am I? Now you are asking a question. The subject wants to know the subject as an object. The I wants to see the I like it sees the rest of the world. It is not possible. And there is your consummation. This knowingness is dropped. Knowingness, thinking, understanding, intellectualizing, whether it is gross or subtle does not matter. All this becomes zero the moment you put your attention on the source. Source is focused on the nature of the knowingness to find its source. Yes, to find on the source. And the source is not in the book, the source is not out there in the world. The source is, well, from the body you can come to the source, from the breath you can come to the source, from the mind you can come to the source. Who knows? I know. Whose body is it? Who is expressing through the body? I am expressing through the body. Who am I? Come back to it. I am breathing. I am observing that the breath is happening. Shift the attention to the eye. Breathing will continue, but you are not aware of it now. To whom are the thoughts coming? To the eye. Shift your attention to the eye, or be the eye. The thoughts will slowly, the impact will keep reducing. And when it is completely reduced, what happens? You are in samadhi. This is nirvikalpa samadhi, which is deep sleep state without sleep. What is nirvikalpa samadhi? Deep sleep state without sleep. Meaning, in other words, remain awake during sleeping. In other words, allow the mind to sleep. It is in the mind that the waking, dream and deep sleep experiences are going on. Allow the mind to withdraw from waking and dream. Observe when this process is going on. Where? Not in the bed, on the seat of meditation. Bed में जाओगे तो straight away dive into sleep. And when the mind is becoming empty, it is going to sleep, catch it. Catch it. You can catch it only if you are awake. If you are dreaming, you have lost the plot. If you are sleeping, you have lost the plot. So you have to remain in the waking to not allow the mind to go into dream or not allow the mind to go into deep sleep. And therefore, we always say, if you do your mantra, always do it loudly. Loudly means in Vaikhari. Vaikhari means in the waking state. Don't imagine I have chanted enough and now I think I have matured into Madhyama. Don't fool yourself. If this thought has come that I must now move to Madhyama, sabotage is taking place. Our focus should be in the waking, we keep chanting the name. Rest everything, let it happen. Don't make it happen. And when it happens by itself, you won't even know. You'll just feel it is most natural. There will be no desire that I have to go from Vaikhari to Madhyama or Madhyama to Pashyanti. There will be no desire. If there is desire, there is an expectation. If expectation is not met, then more thoughts in the mind, then disturbance. So you just chant the mantra in the Vaikhari, in the waking, incessantly, joyfully, blissfully, with love, devotion, surrender, faith, and let the process unfold itself. This is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is deep sleep state without sleep, to the extent one exposes oneself to a steady posture. One, second, thought-free mind, and see, waking sleep, one starts appreciating one's own essential nature. What are the three adjustments? Still body, quiet mind, and wakefulness. And wakefulness. Steady posture, thought-free mind, and waking sleep. Is just play of words. Waking sleep. Thought-free mind is a zero mind. but it's just way of putting it. So now, with all this data, oh, that is so fantastic, that is so wonderful, only 3 steps, yeah, understood everything. Practice. We have to practice. Just by knowing it is not enough. We have to practice. How many times? As many times during the day. No, but to begin, start at least 2 times, 3 times a day. 5-10 minutes morning, 5-10 minutes afternoon, 5-10 minutes evening, 5-10 minutes before going to sleep. See how quickly the unfoldment begins, how quickly you remain the witness, how quickly you go into the samadhi. We are not searching for a quick fix method here, but what we are trying to do is, by continuous exposure to, with this understanding, continuous exposure to our continuous exposure of the self to the self, by way of quiet body, quiet mind, and wakefulness when the mind is quiet, you are creating a new habit for the mind. And you practice it for a few days, you will start having horripilations and thrills, and the mind starts enjoying. Right now the mind is enjoying the tea, the mind is enjoying, after the class immediately it will go, oh, what is for breakfast, I should call this person, oh, I should call that person, I should go for a walk, blah blah, something or the other it will go. It enjoys that. A time must come where the mind starts enjoying its own company. And what is mind enjoying its own company? Silence. Mind enjoying its own company doesn't mean mind enjoying imaginations. No, 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 no. Mind enjoying its own company is silence. It doesn't take too long, but only for that person who is regular in his or her practice, with the right attitude, with faith. In this knowing, oneself, there is no knower. It is knowledge where there is no knower or known, or it is a knower who has nothing to know. Duality has ended. Duality has ended. So no knower known dichotomy. No. No distance between the knower and the known. They have merged. Or wakeful sleep also means that you are the knower, but there is no object to be known. Which some people call dementia. Oh, I try to remember, I can't remember anything. I think I am getting dementia. Healthy condition, you call it a disease. And then create more problem, then more tablets, and then imaginary, I am not able to sleep, I am forgetting everything. You have to, mind must, if mind is going to zero, it is forgetting. Is it not forgetting everything when it goes to deep sleep every night? That time you don't say that you are having dementia. But in the wakeful state where consciously you are doing the japa and it is leading to non-remembrance of the world, immediately you start calling that condition by new names. The doctors are also creative. They need to sell their drugs. But when we continue in this journey without any doubt, understanding the process, then you will not go to a doctor, then you will not go to people, hey man, I am forgetting every time I say something. Can you tell me what is happening? Yeah, you have got dementia. Oh, teri ki gaya. Why you have to take opinion from anyone? You know what sadhana you are doing. You have understood this, what we are talking here. Have the courage to remain silent for as long as it takes. And know, have this deep conviction with faith that everything will be all right. Everything is always all right. Because self is always all right. Mind is never all right. So mind is continuously fluctuating. Waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. In this knowing oneself, there is no knower. It is knowledge where there is no knower or known, or it is a knower who has nothing to know, or it is a known where there is no knower to know something other than itself. Different standpoints. From the knower standpoint, there is nothing to know. Uh, from knowledge, knower, known knowledge, from knowledge point of view, there is no knower or known. From the known point of view, there is no knower. Mahatmas move around in this world. They are seeing everything, hearing everything, touching everything, smelling everything. But there is no owner. There is no knower. I am seeing I is not born there. Experiencer is not born. Experience is taking place, but experiencer is not born. Knowledge is taking place, but the knower is not born. Which we cannot understand. These are only words right now for us. Until and unless we don't abide in that state, till then we cannot appreciate. And if you are hearing so many words and you are still not able to experience it, then find out why is I'm not able to understand the correct import of these words. Because we are still objective. We have to practice, 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 practice. Isn't practice objective? Yes, it is objective. I have to practice. Why you have to practice? Because you are not already there. You think you are not already there. So as long as you think you are not there, you have to practice. And when you come in close proximity to yourself, automatically the proximity will drop, the activity will drop itself. Like it drops away when you go to sleep. All the scriptures point to this aham, this vedya vastu, when I becomes the object of knowledge, and the same I also becomes the knower of the object of knowledge, then I itself remains as knowledge. And which is this I which remains as knowledge? It is a vritti rahit aham. It is thought-free I. So when I ask the question, who am I? Koham. I am asking the question about myself in an objective manner. That objectivity is created by way of thoughts. I want to know who I am. I want to know who wrote this book. Oh, the original verse was by Jnaneshwar Maharaj, commentaries by our Anuhanji Maharaj. Answer is there. Does this type of knowledge work when it comes to I want to know myself? It doesn't work. Because I am already, and I want to know objectively that which is always. And if there are no distractions and genuinely you ask this question, the moment this interaction takes place in your mind, that very moment everything will stop. You don't have to keep repeating it, who am I, who am I, who am I. That's foolishness. That's stupidity. Only once. And that question also must appear by itself as a result of purification. Because when we are introducing that question, it will lead to many more thought constructs. When it appears by itself as a result of purification, the question is asked, followed by wakeful sleep. Thought-free mind. In that thought-free mind, wakeful sleep, the Triputi, the triad, the knower, known, knowing, the one who, the seeker, the sought, everything vanishes. Then what remains? That which is. That which is. Always. Ekameva dvitiya. All the scriptures point to this Aham, the Vedya Vastu, the most knowable. When I becomes the object of knowledge and the same I also becomes the knower of the object of knowledge, then I itself remains as knowledge. I just explained that. Continuing the thought, Arisa apuliye angi apana pahe tari zanane zano lahe apana payate. He says if the mirror can see itself in itself, then it may be possible that self may know the self. If the mirror is able to see itself, then it is possible for the self to know itself. It is not possible. Then to know the self as the self objectively is also not possible. Through words it is not possible. Through concepts it is not possible. If the mirror can see itself, then only one can know oneself. The mirror can reflect everything in the world except itself. Similarly, knowingness can never be known by knowingness. The I can never know the I. It can only be withdrawn to its source, which is the absolute I. What is the absolute I? All the roles can be absorbed back into the person, man or woman. That's the maximum you can do. You cannot, in that example, you cannot remove the man or the woman. They are supporting all the roles. All you can do is withdraw all the roles into the man or woman that you are. If one role is lurking somewhere, you cannot experience the man or woman. If one objective thought is remaining in the mind, you will not be able to access that eloquent silence. that conscious silence, that wakeful sleep, you will not be able to, you will not be able to get there. Be that. One corruption is enough. One thought is enough. One objectivity is enough. One error is enough. Similar. So, knowingness can never be known by knowingness. I can never come to know the I. It can only be withdrawn to its own source, which is the absolute I. The I thought, what does it represent? Before, the I thought was with reference to the object, and then the I thought is seeking the I thought objectively, which is not possible. But it makes that attempt. Every one of us tries that every now and then. If we have not tried, that is meditation. But in that process, what will happen? The thought will vanish, but I, which is none other than the pure consciousness, the absolute reality, continues. Only the thought aspect vanishes. Just as the waking vanishes, the dream vanishes, but you remain. Body identification vanishes, but you remain. See? So thought vanishes and you remain. And that is only possible in deep sleep, but it leads to ignorance. It is ignorant. You are ignorant there. But when it is brought about consciously, you are the absolute consciousness. When the last thought of I drops itself. It drops because it has got nothing to latch on to. It needs the subject I needs an object to latch on to identify. But you have tricked it. You have tricked the I into thinking, who am I? How did you trick it? You studied so many scriptures. So when you purify, automatically it happens. And there is its consummation. Because how can he latch on to itself? It is not possible. But in that process, that one little error, which was the thought aspect of the I, that also drops away. It can only be withdrawn to its own source, which is the absolute I. Only by transcending the different experiences, good and bad, can one traverse the spiritual path with commitment. Only by transcending the different experiences, good or bad. Many things happen along the way. Many doubts will come, many experiences will happen. Many fears will be thrown out of your system. At that time, don't create a personality. Oh, I should not have done that way. I don't feel guilty. Just remain a drashta, remain an observer, outside as well as inside. This will also pass away. Next. Like you're standing on the Springvale Road and you're watching the cars come by. Next. It's a traffic going on. And traffic is always not at peak. Sometimes it is at peak, sometimes it is zero. So this highway of the mind, there also the traffic is going on. Sometimes it was about the world, now it is not about the world, now it is about who am I. Till it clicks, man, it's a foolish question. Only by transcending the different experiences, good and bad, can one traverse the spiritual path with commitment. So when we say transcending the different experiences, good and bad, yama, live in such a manner that you do not get disturbed by the world nor disturb the world. Niyama, live in such a way within yourself that you don't get disturbed by your own mind, by your own thoughts. So disciplined living, regularity, clarity, purity must be maintained. And that comes by lifestyle. It doesn't happen by coming to satsang without taking shower. It doesn't come by, oh, I need to lubricate myself continuously while listening to satsang. It doesn't come by lying in the bed and listening to a satsang. I will meditate lying down. It doesn't happen that way. It requires correction in our default settings. All these are lazy man's way of pursuit. Tamas is holding on. Break through it. Break through it. Only by transcending the different experiences. So we do not give value to experiences, ecstasy, mystical experiences, hearing various sounds, seeing various gods. That is not our goal. Remain equanimous, remain aware, that's all. What's next? Mahatmas also come and bless. Okay, thank you for blessing. Move on. Who's next? Thus, when the knowingness tries to know itself by withdrawing into itself, it becomes unmanifest. One enters Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where there is no person who has known the truth, who has attained self-realization. In self-realization, the person disappears. Means the individual disappears. Where there is no I thought, there is no knower, how can there be an experience thereafter? Can be no experience. Oh, but we go into samadhi and we come out and then we say, I had a samadhi. Then it was something is missing there. Jada samadhi. Samadhi, you must be consumed completely. So keep practicing. Nothing wrong. Every time you wake up from samadhi or meditation, and if the world is still is experienced as separate to the self, understand और काम करना है. It's not over yet. Some error is happening somewhere. Some more adjustments in our approach need to be made. Those adjustments will only happen where there is clarity. Where am I going wrong in my approach? That again, the objectivity was maintained after samadhi. See? Final consummation didn't happen. Why? Where? Where was the error? So this way you get in tune with yourself, and somewhere, by grace, it will happen. So thus, when the knowingness tries to know itself by withdrawing into itself, it becomes unmanifest. What becomes unmanifest? The knowingness becomes unmanifest, and as a result of that unmanifest knowingness, which is waking sleep or zero mind, thought-free mind, one enters into nirvikalpa samadhi. Vikalpa means options. Options are only by way of thoughts. Nir is without any options, without any thoughts. Kalpa, another way, vikalpa, nirvikalpa. Kalpa means what? Kalpa means kalpana, imagination. Options are also imaginations. So imaginary imaginations, kalpa, kalpana. Vikalpa, options, imaginary options. Should I or should I not? Am I a man or am I a woman? I'm young or am I old? I'm a waker or I'm a sleeper? I'm listening or am I not listening? I'm a seeker or am I not a seeker? Options. Nirvikalpa, where all kalpana, imaginations. Kalpa also means the period of time. One kalpa is the day of Brahmaji. That one day is equal to 14 manvantaras, and each manvantara is 74 cycles of Chaturyugas. One kalpa. That is also imaginary. Oh my God. So nirvikalpa, without any options. So here it says, one enters nirvikalpa samadhi where there is no person, there is no individual, there is no personality. Personality is born only on account of identification. When there is nothing to identify, mind has become zero, no options are there, because I contemplated on I, as a result, nirvikalpa samadhi. The crystallization of the personality has melted. There are no rough edges of I am this, I am that. In nirvikalpa samadhi, you can't even say you are in samadhi. I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper. You can't say that I am a sleeper in sleep also. So also in nirvikalpa samadhi also nobody is there to say that I am having samadhi experience. There is nobody there to have a samadhi experience. Nobody there as personality. It's a homogeneous experience of infinite consciousness. Where there is no person who has known the truth, so the truth is not known objectively but subjectively. When we say truth is known subjectively, it's a misnomer. It's not a statement which leads to anything. It's a useless statement. Where there is no person who has known the truth, who has attained self-realization, in self-realization the person disappears. In other words, the seeker disappears. In this state, speech is not possible. That which is beyond the Paravani, the abode of the total potentiality to manifest as the world of names and forms, how can that be revealed by the gross speech, the Vaikhari Vani? How can the gross speech, the Vaikhari, how can the Madhyama, the subtle speech, and how can Pashyanti, the no speech? How can silence? How can they reveal that which is transcendental to them, that which is beyond them? They are impotent to verbalize that experience, and yet we are doing it here. We are doing it, but it is only in speaking in such a language that I tries to know the subject comes to wants to know the subject as an object. We are using words, but it has to be converted into our own direct experience. These words is not equal to abidance. These words is not equal to abidance. How can that be revealed by the gross speech? It is not possible. Therefore, the Kathopanishad states, let the wise one absorb the speech in the mind and the mind in the individual intellect, the individual act into the total intellect, and the total intellect into the absolute. This is the Laya Prakriya. There are different Laya Prakriyas. This is one. Absorb the speech into the mind into the intellect into the absolute. For someone who is more very gross, withdraw the earth into the water into the fire into the air into this space into the into the mental space, and from mental space into the conscious space. Kundalini Abhyas is also Lay Prakriya, step by step. You absorb the lower chakras, Muladhar into Swadhisthana, Swadhisthana into Manipur, Manipur into Anahat, Anahat into Vishuddhi, Vishuddhi into Agya, Agya into Sahasrar. Lay Prakriya. Vaikhari into Madhyama, Madhyama into Pashyanti, Pashyanti into Para. Lay Prakriya. And who are you? Beyond the Para, so to speak. So, the gross into subtle, subtle into causal, causal into transcendental. Lay Prakriya. But I don't want to go step by step. You are not. If you are asking this question, I don't want to go step by step. The answer is you are not qualified. If you are asking that question, why you are not qualified? Because you already are and you are not accepting it. So as long as you are accepting yourself to be an individual, as long as you are accepting yourself to be a personality, a person, till then, step by step, you have to put the hard work. Either you accept yourself and be. If you don't accept, then approach is step by step. So don't remain in this gaga land. I have understood everything and I am the self. What self? fully identified with body and I want to be the self. You have to work towards it. The thought continues. दिगंता पैलीकडेचे धावोनी सूर्या खोचे मातीये सीतीयेचे अंग फुटे. A knife can cut any object in the space. Can it cut itself, although it is also an object? Huh? The knife can pierce and cut something other than itself, although the sharpness is supported by the knife. It cannot destroy itself. In the same way, the knowingness aspect of me can know everything except itself. When it tries to do so, it disappears. Only sentiency, the substratum, remains. The agitations of the minds are stilled. When are they stilled? Not when you are thinking about the world, not when you are thinking about God, when you are thinking about the subject itself. God also it can help, but then question will come, today Shivji came, tomorrow Narayana came, then Brahmaji came, then Indra came. You will get confused there also. We are very self-sufficient in confusion. The substratum remains, the agitations of the mind are stilled. Agitations of the mind are stilled only when we are single-pointed, focused. A person who wants to be successful. I know a kid in India, from childhood, he was a very cranky child as a child. But as he grew up, became teenage, self-motivated, he wants to be a scientist. His parents, they didn't worry about his studies. They never had to tell him, please go and study, please do your homework. Never, never even once. Self-motivated. From the time he was in 7th or 8th, by himself he is studying and he is far ahead of other students in the class. He is researching other books and all by himself he applied for IIT. He passed the exam without any tuitions. Now he is in IIT Kharagpur, I think last year now. See, wants to be a scientist, and when he's when he is with his books, he forgets sleep, he forgets how long he has been sitting on the chair, he forgets hunger. Is as if he is into his own world, oblivious of body needs, oblivious of rest, oblivious of relationships, oblivious of movies and serials and whatnot. That type of commitment is required. In satsang, we are motivating you to be who you already are. Unless and until this pull, this urge, this inner hook does not appear by itself, till then you will need someone outside to motivate. And once that hook is there, yes, you can keep coming to the satsang, keep listening, keep refining how to approach, how to go on that inward journey. The pull is there. You're hooked on to the reality by its grace. But while you are going back, now your journey has begun. But sometimes distractions are there. misunderstandings are there, all those can be cleared in the satsang. So be self motivated, self inspired, literally self inspired. Because inspiration, nature of self is inspiration. It doesn't come, देख लेंगे, retire, okay, after retirement we will begin the spiritual pursuit. After 50 I will begin. What will you begin after 50? No energy, no focus. I'm not saying as a general statement. There are many exceptions. हो गया time. Meditation is the technique by which the knowingness is separated from the sentiency, as the heat aspect of the fire is separated in water from its light aspect, in the heated iron ball. Once this technique is mastered, one will be able to express the knowingness as the world of knower and known, or withdraw the knowingness and remain still and silent in the state of sentiency and yet not asleep. Lot of things to explain there and contemplate. We'll do it in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om.